All right, hey folks, I hope you have been enjoying this series of videos where I'm just kind of doing these live drawing sessions. I've been enjoying them. Now, I have been like taking notes on like how much time I'm spending on each of these, and also like what can I do to be improving each of these. I mean, the whole thing about doing 365 videos in a year, which I did miss, by the way, but I'm still keeping track of like how many, what progress we're on until we hit 365, and I've been keeping track of those in the descriptions of these videos. Whoa, that is way too big. So we're at like 120 something right now. And I've been taking notes about like how to improve the presentation of each. And I think I just want to be prepared with the topic, because some of these last videos have just been drawing, just kind of explaining my process, but and which is great. You know, I've been enjoying that. But let's have a plan now. Now I did come into this video with a plan, and some of these are just going to be like kind of reflections on life and my spirituality and kind of how life is going for me. You know, I don't want to be talking too much about like my personal goings on, of course, but I can talk about something I've been listening to, which is the Word on Fire podcast from Bishop Robert Barron, who is a Catholic bishop and a very, very smart bishop whose style of preaching is through the intellectual. He is a philosopher, so he studied, you know, the deepest philosophies from, you know, your classics like Aristotle and Plato. And it's interesting because when you say something like Aristotelian or Platonic, because there's no better way to describe like you know, their specific thoughts and teachings besides using their name. So if we say like Immanuel Kant, we would say Kantian, or something like David Hume or Heidegger. You would just say their name, and you kind of get a feel. Like Cartesian would be Descartes, so something like that. Now that said, I don't want to lose concentration on the actual drawing process here, so I'm gonna keep my eye on that. Now this character that I drew, Rockwell, he is like a, whoa, I don't remember eye dropping that white, but I accidentally grabbed a white here. A younger guy, so when I'm drawing his facial features and like his neck and muscles and stuff like that, because in a previous video I mentioned that he looked a little bit old, so I want to make sure that even though he's this muscular guy, I want to kind of reel it in a little bit and make him still look young. So even right there, the neck was a bit thick, so I'm going to bring it in a little bit. Not that like younger guys can't have these you know, muscular necks and muscles, but I don't want the features to give any indication that he might be older. So we're gonna soften the jawline a little bit here. Yeah, I think yeah, an 18-year-old guy can definitely look like this. This character is supposed to be 18, so anyway, I've been listening to a lot of Robert Barron, and I'm currently on episode 205, where they're talking about Ignatian spirituality and the spiritual exercises. And I do the examine from Ignatian spirituality every day. It's part of my daily prayer. And overall, one thing that has been missing from my life is like a proper routine, a proper daily routine, and a sense of discipline. And for me, without getting too much into my daily routine, which honestly I want to keep improving every day, part of my daily prayer is the examine, where it's a 5-step examination, not necessarily examination of constant. It's called the examen, EXAMEN, where you put yourself into God's presence, you thank Him for the day and thank Him for the gift of life and for His love. And then you start taking a look and reviewing your day. Like how did my day go yesterday? What are some thoughts and feelings I had? Were those thoughts and feelings like, how did I feel? Was it leading me to God? Was it leading me to greater love? And the thing that I learned is like, there are two things that St. Ignatius of Loyola will speak about, and those, they are consolations and desolations. And before, I used to have a hard time describing what that might be, or even like researching what that might be. But now, thanks to Bishop Robert Barron's explanation, it's very clear to me that a real consolation is not necessarily a good feeling. I used to think it's like, oh, a feeling of peace and happiness, but then at that point you're just trusting your feelings, and that doesn't seem to me like proper religion, where it's like, okay, I feel like this, therefore it's right. And I think in the past I've had a flawed prayer life where I felt like if something was, I guess, clear in my mind or clear in my head, um, or a clear feeling, because we can definitely know, like, this is what I'm thinking right now. It's very clear to me. This is how I feel right now. That's very clear to me. But neither of those things are what a real consolation is. Now, one can properly discern. How am I getting eye drops on accident? One can properly discern what a real consolation is if it leads you to love of God and neighbor. That's the key. Because what is love of God? Well, love of God, to love anything, to love another person is to will their good. How can one will the good of God? Well, he is the source of goodness himself. So you can't do anything to give a gift to God or like improve on God. But what you can do is simply align to his goodness. So love of God means aligning oneself with his will, because he is love. And that said, it can be very clear, like, no matter how you feel, even whether you feel a sense of peace or a sense of chaos, either of those feelings could be something from God. Now, if you're feeling like a sorrow or confusion, if your discernment tells you that you need to be more loving in your actions and your will and your thoughts, then it is perhaps a good feeling that you were meant to feel at that time. And if that feeling, whether if it could be a good feeling, let's say you're happy about something, but if it's showing you that you are becoming less loving, less willful of the good of others, then it's possibly a trick. That good feeling could really be a temptation, which happens with sin, because when we sin, those are usually sin often comes with like more immediate good feelings, and if we don't discern those feelings properly, we could be diving deeper into a sin that is rewarding us with those temporary good feelings. And all types of sin will have some kind of temporary pain relief. Now, I'm getting eye drops in accident, and I wonder why that is. I don't know if I'm accidentally tapping the iPad with my finger and using the eyedropper in accident, but we want to prevent that. Now, and not it doesn't come just with emotions, but let's say intellectually I have a thought, and it seems like it's drawing me to the truth, and it seems like maybe I'm learning something here, but that thought, if we follow it, where does it lead? Am I becoming? Is that thought going to lead me to a greater sense of love or a greater love for God and neighbor? So it's the same deal, where if you follow it, you can have thoughts and feelings, but love is the will, and carrying out that will, of course, is the completion and the manifestation of love. Yeah, I'm getting these eye drops for some reason. Okay. So that's just all I wanted to share. My lunch is, I just had my lunch today, and I got to go back to work. So I just did a little bit of line art here with this Rockwell character. I do enjoy my line art process. Wow. That's like the 4th or 5th time during this recording that I accidentally got an eye drop. So I need to address that. It could be that my glove, because I have another glove that I normally use, and maybe this glove is not thick enough where it's detecting like my pinky as an eyedropper. So that's no good. I might maybe discontinue this glove or just save it for a different device. So that might be it. I'm going to take a note of that, because these days I want to take notes and metrics of everything. It helps me improve. It's something I learned from my current workplace, that the metric is never the goal, but the metric, when you look at metrics, it can be a sign of like something underlying that you can improve on. So yeah. That's kind of my spiel on spiritual discernment. Again, there's a lot of good and bad spirits. There's a lot of good and bad thoughts and ideas, but ultimately, what the signal will be of if it's of God or not. Is it leading you to greater love of God and neighbor? Love of God is aligning to His will, and love of neighbor is obviously wanting the good for those around you. And so, yeah, I think having learned that, it will really help me improve in my prayer life and help me know when a feeling or thought is leading me in the right direction. So that's all I wanted to share, and we're going to keep this line art process going. I'm really enjoying it. I really like this inking brush. It's working well for me and my style. So I'll talk to you guys later. God bless you all. Bye bye.